Happy Life Results.
Hey everyone, welcome.
Happy Life Results book group. So today we're doing the second section in signals, and it's called fire. And we're actually going to talk a little bit about yesterday's text because we didn't mention about the thousands of inputs and signals that your body's constantly getting. So if you were to just sit calmly and think about all of the different inputs you're getting from your body and from your environment, like what sounds do you hear? What's the temperature? How's your clothing feel? You can focus on every different part of your body, right?
How much pressure under your feet? How much pressure what you're sitting on? How
seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, and all of these inputs all at once. And there's so many that you have to be selective about which ones you pay attention to.
And it's interesting because if you cup your ears, you realize that there's actually the sound of the rushing blood, all kinds of other signals, things that your body could send you information about.
Yeah, you can even notice when you blink. You can notice your eyelid coming down. How often do you notice that your vision is blocked out?
or the little floaty things that every now and again.
Yeah, in bright sunlight.
Or the after effect of you've seen a light and now you have the after image. If it's like a camera flash, you'll notice it because it's right in the middle of your vision. But you have things like that, all kinds of signals.
Yeah, and you'll just tune them out. Most of them you're selectively deaf to. You don't notice them. And then you have you have the ability to tune into and tune out of the signal. And when you're tuning in, you're getting the information. And when you tune out, then you're, like I said, selectively deaf.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't even exist almost.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And one of the cool things about this is that because the more and more aware you are of your ability to tune in and tune out of signals, the more you can tune into signals that serve you in the direction that you're going. And if optimal health is your direction, you use the signals from your body differently than if a different direction is your focus. And even if optimal health means, being a marathon runner for you, or if it's a weightlifter, or if it's a gymnast, like every different direction you're going, the signals you tune into or out of will help you or hinder you in the direction that you're going. Does that make sense?
Makes total sense to me.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So now let's talk about fire, like the model, right? That's the how you view the signal. So the fire, one example of how you could view every signal your body gives you is how Stacy described when she viewed hunger. And it is when you get the signal, it means there's a fire and you have to send out the response squad and take care of it immediately. It doesn't mean this is information you can evaluate. This means this is an emergency and you have no choice. This is you have to respond to it, right?
Yeah.
So how do you do it differently? What is a different way that you approach your signals?
So one is so there are a lot of different ways, and the way I went about it is so different than the way you may choose to go about it. So just keep that in mind. I'm not saying do it this way. It was just the way I picked, and that was to take away the thing that I thought I needed so much. So it's like with food, I went in and did intermittent fasting, and I did 7-day fasts a couple of times because I wanted to get really curious and really clear on how I interpreted that signal. And I actually wanted to get really clear on which part of it was a physical kind of sensation and which part of it was an emotional reaction to the sensation.
So when you did this intermittent fasting, what did you learn about how to view the signal?
It was crazy. So at first, it felt like when I felt hungry, I had to eat. It felt like I was restricted in my activities. I was restricted even in my capacity to concentrate. It felt like all of these things were limited. The first really big breakthrough for me was when I started exercising during the window of intermittent fasting. I felt like when I would lift weights that I just didn't have the access to nutrients that I needed. I would feel lightheaded. I would feel tired. I would tire easily. And I remember talking to you about it, and I said, this is how it's happening. And I knew that he had already done this. He had already worked out while he was fasting, and he actually had, you liked it better. There was no food in your stomach, so then there was more like energy in the rest of your body. And so
I'd have to spend the energy to digest the food, and so I had all the blood flow available for my exercise.
Yes, and so you said something like, you may just think that you need to feel that way, and I was like, what do you mean? I think I need to.
I don't have food. I'm fasting.
It makes me feel that way. So it was fire. It was, you have to eat in order to work out. I just felt like that, and then I started to play around with the signals and say, okay, this is a signal, but maybe it's because I trained it. I trained my body. I got the signal, and now I have to react this way. And I had no clue that lightheadedness could be a signal you chose, information that you chose to interpret in a way, like before, that for me before was completely all subconscious. I had no hand in that. That was something my body did. It either had nutrients or it didn't. And if it didn't, then I would get lightheaded. I didn't realize that the signal was neutral, and I actually had a hand in that.
That's so funny what you said, if my body had nutrients or didn't have nutrients. Like, do we even know how many nutrients we have at any given time? Like, the minute we eat that hot dog, if you're eating hot, whatever you're eating, the minute you eat it, does that mean now it's a nutrient in your body? Like, now you have access for your muscles? Like, why would you go from the minute you eat it, now I'm good?
I know. Here's a perfect example. Okay, when I broke my fast, it was 7 days at the minute I broke my fast, and then I had bone broth, which I personally just love. And how many nutrients does bone broth have? Like hardly any. And the second it hit my stomach, I don't have access to those nutrients, right? It has to digest, right? But the second I had that in my mouth, it felt like all of a sudden I had more strength and energy.
It's hilarious, isn't it?
So that's why I knew it wasn't physical.
So as far as the signals, then what she's describing is, instead of, like, the way you view signals matters.
Yes.
The way you interpret what it means, how much information it is, how neutral or how charged the signal is, matters.
Yeah.
And it's probably a lot more flexible than you have realized in the past.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So that's it for today.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.